Hi, Sagittarius rising sign. Here is your weekly forecast starting on the 20th of May until the 26th of May. So this week is a lot of seventh house and fifth house activation. So we had a bit of a rest from the fifth house, right? But now a lot of things are getting activated for you there. And a lot of fourth house also, which is your nodal axis. The nodal axis is sitting at the final degrees of your fourth house and 10th house. So your entire life structure, your home base versus your public destiny is kind of like under a final cosmic audit. With the personal planets moving through your seventh house, the house of relationship, and your sixth house, the daily grind, people from the past and present are acting as a mirror for your karmic homework. So, Sagittarius rising, I think you love the horizon, right? You love expansion, you love freedom. But right now, the universe isn't looking at where you are going, it's looking at where you stand, where you come from. So, from May 20 to 27th, we are hitting a massive karmic crossroads. The nodes of fate are sitting at the final critical degrees of your fourth and 10th house. This means your home, your family roots, your ultimate career legacy are facing a final exam. The personal planets are about to trigger this axis like a tripwire. So if you feel torn between your private life and your public ambitions, you are right on schedule actually. So the very first stop is basically kicking off the week on May 20th with a quite a supportive alignment. Mars in Taurus in your sixth house, sextiles Venus in your eighth house. So Mars in Taurus gives you that steady, determined focus to get your physical affairs in order. Your daily routine, chores, physical health are getting a boost of stamina, really. Maybe if you want to be making a change in your physical body, in your life, this could be a good week for that. While Venus in your eighth house brings the deeply supportive, nurturing energy to your shared resources, investment, the intimate bonds that you make. So, if there are financial logistics to handle with a partner, secure a client contract, streamline a tedious business process, all good for that. The effort can feel a lot smoother because it directly improves your emotional peace of mind. So you can really capitalize on cooperations. Um, and you should do that very quickly because the cosmic weather shifts by the middle of the week. Now we do have got 22nd, which is a very multi-layered day in the cosmos, where your relationship takes center stage. So first up is Venus trine the North Node in your fourth house, and therefore it sextiles your South Node in the 10th house as well. So it's a bit of a green light for your personal life, an investment in your home, a deep healing conversation with family, sudden feeling of emotional belonging could surface, and maybe we're gonna have to be able to find solution to it. It's about trusting your heart over your ambitions today. The Mercury makes a sextile to Saturn in your fifth house. And this is about clear communication, about joy, creative projects, and potentially children as well. This is a perfect window to sit down with a business partner, the spouse, or a long-term client and sign formal contractual agreements, set firm rules, solidify the boundaries of any type of creative collaboration. The Sun makes a conjunction at the start of Gemini in your seventh house. So that's a bit of a lightning bolt to your relationship, the realization that we have to bring new spark into that business partnership, into that relationship. That's a breakthrough, an unexpected news from a partner or a key client, or you are making some unexpected public connections as well. Maybe this is also a radical new perspective of how you relate to others. However, Neptune is actually being squared by Venus in your fifth house, while Mercury goes out of bound on 11 degree of Gemini. So Venus in your eighth house squaring Neptune in your fifth house is kind of like a massive financial and emotional blind spot. You might idealize a joint venture or we are yearning for better intimacy department. We would like to have a more intimacy. We would like to have a boyfriend, for example. We can be even projecting our deep childhood longings onto a partner. This is not necessarily a day when we should sign a financial agreement or making promises because the fog is a little bit too thick right now. Mercury goes out of bound for the next few weeks in your seventh house. So your partners, clients, opponents are going to speak with zero filters. You will have brilliant, totally unconventional conversations. But people might also blurt out shocking truth. So keep your wits around you because the mind is on a wild ride and people might be saying some hurtful things, and you're just gonna have to be kind of like walking away from it. The Sun sextiles Neptune on the 25th, which is, it's kind of like lifting the relational fog and allowing you to see the real potentials of those recent insights that you might have received with Venus and Neptune square. Then Sun in your seventh house squares the nodal axis, though. Meanwhile, Mars sextiles the nodal axis as well. So this is the ultimate crossroad here. The Saturn in your 10th house has made you heavily dependent on public recognition, professional perfectionism, micromanaging your career status. But the Sun in your 7th house is demanding you to look at the people right in front of you. Look at the people you collaborate with. Like, can I be picky? Who I make a contractual agreement with? Uh, it says you cannot use your public success to escape private reality. Mars in your sixth house is helping you by trining the South Node, meaning your daily hard work and practical habits are highly effective right now. So you can use that operational discipline to build an authentic, emotionally safe foundation, for example, at home. But stop obsessing over outward prestige and tend to your inner circle as well. However, that Mars is squaring Pluto. And most likely that's the most intense day of the week, the most volatile one, because that's a heavy confrontation connected with power dynamics. Mars in the sixth house, it's an intense clash between your daily workload and your local network siblings. We might not be on the same page, for example, with the sibling, how the work should be done. Or you might face a massive power struggle regarding your schedule, and then people are kind of like disregarding that. Or you might be trying to collaborate with a, a local business, but maybe someone in your immediate environment might try to force a system on you or manipulate your daily routines, which you might get super angry about. The Sun trines Pluto as well at the same time. That could be an intellectual leverage. Instead of being stubborn with your daily habits, use open communication of that Sun in Gemini to negotiate strategically. Your power really lies in your ability to communicate with being like a psychological authority, not necessarily picking a physical fight that we might not be able to win. Venus is squaring Palasatini in your fifth house, and this is another clash. The eighth house is the need for shared vulnerability, deep intimacy, and the fifth house is a strategic impulse to be totally independent and bold when it comes to creative expression. So it feels like you are learning to balance deep commitments with your need for individual joy. We cannot always share the joy. The Sun sextiles Vesta on the 26th and 27th, and another 7 and 5th house activation. So that is bringing a creative fire and a heart-led passion into the picture. So this is about deep commitment, dedicating yourself to a collaboration, a project, a vision of the partner. It's about lighting the flame of that sacred focus within your creative life, intimacy department, your interaction with key people in your life. You become maybe a source of inspiration for others, or others are becoming a source of inspiration for you. And it's not an exhaustion for you anymore to kind of give ideas to others. You might even like brainstorming. So, Sagittarius rising this entire week is a bit of a cosmic stress test for your relationship and your core foundation. Every single aspect from that shocking Sun Uranus conjunction to that heavy reality of Mars Pluto square is pointing out where your current structures are a bit too rigid. The universe is asking you to clean out the old professional overthinking, for example, and show up authentically in your own personal life. Next month, Uranus is going to square your nodal axis and force a massive, sudden change in the directions that you take. So, if you do the clearing work now, I think June will bring a radical breakthrough in your career as well as in your home life. So, your homework is to let me know in the comments what old habits of chasing external approval are you letting go of this week? Just to focus on what truly matters. Please hit that subscribe button, stand firm in your truth, and I will see you in my next deep dive video. Take care. Bye bye.